Okay. Thank you everybody for coming. I'm super excited to share my goddess. I am Kat and I've been a devotee to the Morrigan for over 20 years. And so I'm really excited to kind of introduce her to you. So a little bit we'll talk a little bit about um her lore in the history and the myths. And then we will also have a chance to meet her ourselves with a guided meditation at the end. So I called this presentation Shadow and Sovereignty, Unveiling the Mysteries of the Morrigan. And I wanted to mention really quickly, I picked the words shadow and sovereignty because those are the two words that have empowered me over the last 20 years in learning my own sovereignty that I hold within from her, as well as the shadows. She tends to be in the background of things, for me at least. She's like the gatekeeper who allows goddesses and gods to kind of come and go, but she really holds my space. So sometimes she's in the shadows and sometimes she's right next to me. So when we do our mandala work this year for a sky dancer, she will definitely be holding my space around the mandala. So let's next. Oops, did it not? It's not moving.
I think if you use the touchpad.
Oh,
kind of,
there we go. Sorry about this technical difficulties.
on the right.
There we go. Okay. All right. So I wanted to start with the Tuatha Dé Danann because she is a part of this supernatural beings that descended upon a hill in Ireland. So the Tuatha Dé Danann are a supernatural race in the Irish mythology, often considered the ancient gods and goddesses of Ireland. Their name means the people of the goddess of Danu. They are beings of great power associated with magic, wisdom, and warfare and the arts, and they represent an earlier divine age of Ireland. After arriving in Ireland, they defeated the Fearsome and later the Fomorians, chaotic, destructive beings that were terrorizing the land of Ireland. Eventually, they were displaced by the mortal Malaysians and retreated to the other world, becoming the seed or the fairy folk. Let's go next. I gotta get used to this technology. So who is the Morrigan within the Tuatha Dé Danann? She is one of the most powerful and complex goddesses of the Tuatha Dé Danann. She is a goddess of war, fate, and prophecy, often associated with sovereignty and the land itself. The land is a common theme throughout her and her sisters. So just think about that as we move through this. She plays a key role in several mythic battles, including the Second Battle of Mag Tarod, where the Tuatha fought the Fomorians. The Morrigan uses magic, shapeshifting, and foresight to influence the outcomes of war. She is also a protector of the land and a bringer of transformation, blessing or cursing rulers based on their worthiness. So she really is kind of a kingmaker, if we think about it. She deems who is worthy to rule the land. As a member of the Tuatha Dé Danann, she represents both the ferocity and wisdom of divine feminine. So go to the next slide. So I wrote a devotional prayer to the Morrigan. So I'd like us to sit back, kind of close our eyes and listen to my devotional prayer and kind of see what images come up for you all. Great Morrigan, Queen of the shadows and sovereignty, I offer you my voice in blessing and devotion. May your presence walk with me through the darkness and light alike, and may your wisdom be ever near. Macha, crimson queen of strength and will, lady of the horses, of land, of sacred fury. Bless me with endurance when I am weary, with fire when I feel forgotten, with sovereignty over my soul. Let me walk as you walk, proud, untamed, unbroken. Badb, raven of battle and prophecy, witching cry that stirs the stillness, seeresses of the fate and coming change. Bless me with a vision when paths are unclear, with courage when fear rises in my throat, with truth that pierces like your scream. Let me see as you see, clear-eyed, unwavering, and fierce. So Moniki. So we're going to talk about the Morrigan and her sisters. So on the theme of our weekend as the triples or the threes, she is not a triple goddess. So she is not a maiden, mother, and crone. She exists with her sisters. So we have the Morrigan, we have Macha, and we have Badb. So they are in some scriptures or writings the daughters of Nemain. And the Morrigan can be kind of associated, it goes back and forth with Anu or Margu. So you might hear those names in different writings and different teachings. So today we're going to talk about the Morrigan, the great queen of battle and fate. So the Morrigan, whose name means great queen or phantom queen, is a complex and powerful goddess in Irish mythology, associated with war, fate, death, and sovereignty. And I personally would throw in crossroads from my experience with her. She appears prominently in the Ulster cycle and other medieval Irish texts, often taking the form of a crow or raven on the battlefield. The Morrigan is not a single entity, but often portrayed as a trio of sisters, goddesses, the Morrigan, Macha, and Badb. Reflecting ancient Celtic themes of triple deities, she is both feared and revered, representing the chaos of war and the sacred cycle of death and rebirth. The Morrigan also is connected to the prophecy and the land itself, appearing at crucial moments to guide and challenge the heroes of the time. And I would say in my own practice to challenge me as well. So some of the attributes that we can find with her name meaning great queen or phantom queen, her domains are war, fate, death, prophecy, and sovereignty. Her symbols, we often see the crows and ravens with her, blood, and the battlefield. I would also probably have the crown as well, since she is the great queen and she often speaks to her sovereignty in the way she leads, the way she sees things, the way she can look at a battlefield and decide who's going to win and who's going to lose. And in my life or the role she plays in mine, she teaches me strategic thinking. She teaches me discernment, and she teaches me when to be quiet and when to speak. She's also a shapeshifter, so she moves between the crow, the eel, and the cow. She foretells the outcomes of battles. She influences fate and guides warriors. She connects deeply to the land and its rulers. And as I've mentioned, she is really the king decider. And she's associated with ravens, crows, cows, and eels, as I mentioned. So here's a short prayer that I wrote for her. Great Morrigan, phantom queen, watcher at the veil, guide me through shadow, strengthen me in battle, grant me courage to walk my path with truth, fire, and fierce heart. So may it be. And the picture that I have here is the Cave of Cats in Ireland, which is often her place. They say that she has this is one of her sacred sites. There are cats. There's plenty of pictures around with cats in front of this cave. They seem to like it, but you can also crawl into the cave. So you can go kind of like into the womb of the mother and sit within her energy. They say that this is also the birthplace of Samhain. So we'll go next. And now we have Macha, sovereign goddess of land and justice. Macha is a goddess of war, sovereignty, fertility, and horses. Often regarded as one aspect or sister of the Morrigan, she appears in multiple tales, including one of the most famous, The Curse of Macha. When she was forced to race against the king's horses while pregnant, cursing the men of Ulster with the labor pains of childbirth. This act ties her deeply to both justice and vengeance. So Macha can appear, there's 4 different appearances of Macha when you do your research. You have Macha, who's the daughter of Nemain, and then you have Macha, who was the queen, who was married to a king who was ruling over Ulster. And at the time, she was very agile, very fast. So he forced her to race 9 months pregnant as she was in labor to show off the agility and strength and endurance of his wife. And the tale goes that at the end of this race, she is dying because of all of the strength and the endurance that she used up during the race. So she curses the men of Ulster with labor pains. And they say that all the men dropped in agony as she raises her finger or her eye on the men, and she causes them to have labor pains. So so yeah, so she's very fierce. Yeah. So this image I found, I absolutely love. It's called Macha Curses the Men of Ulster by Stephen Moore, and you can see her just pointing, and the men below are going to be suffering pain like she suffered. So Macha's name is also linked to the ancient royal site of Eamon Macha, modern day Navan Fort in the county Armagh. And this is in Northern Ireland. Believed to be a ceremonial center of power, she embodies the sacred connection between the land and rulership, with her wrath and protection tied into the well-being of people. And so some of the associations, so her name, Macha, is thought to mean plain or field. There hasn't been an like a firm I guess what do I want to say, the firm translation of what her name means. So these are kind of just different ideas that have come through. Her domains are of war, fertility, sovereignty, and horses. Her symbols are horses, her red hair, and childbirth. So you'll see within the trio that Macha really is the one that has the red hair. The Morrigan, you'll see images of her with black hair or red hair. The same with Badb. So it's really how she comes to you. Macha comes to me with red hair. The Morrigan has dark, and Badb is actually between black and gray because she is kind of the older of the sisters, is what I feel. The famous tale, of course, the curse of Macha, forced to race while pregnant and cursing Ulster's men. The sacred site of Men Macha, the Navan Fort, and the ancient ceremonial center. So she is the embodiment of endurance and sacred feminine rage. She's the enforcer of justice and balance between the rulers and the land. And she's associated with horses. So this is the prayer that I wrote for her. Macha of the red mane, lady of the land and justice, grant me strength to endure, wisdom to speak truth, and the fire to stand tall when the world would see me bow. So may it be.
So maybe.
Yeah. And so this picture is the Eamon Macha, or the Navan Fort in Northern Ireland. And they say that the little round tomb is possibly where Queen Macha was buried. So this is where her place of reverence. So now we'll go to the next one. So Badb, my favorite at the moment, the washer at the fjord and the prophetess of death. So Badb is a goddess of war, death, and prophecy, frequently appearing in the form of a raven or crow. As one of the Morrigan's sisters, she is known for her chilling presence before battle, often foretelling doom. So she actually appeared at the battle between the Fomorians, and she is the one who foretold the victory as well as the end of the world. And she is also worshipped or honored as Babcathada in the Gaulish tradition. She is the one who sees all the roads, every path that can be taken and every outcome. So she is the true prophet, the oracle, the seer. And with her, this sister in particular, I feel she is at the crossroads. So when we find ourselves at a place where we're unsure of where we're going, it's Badb that's going to come and put her hand on your shoulder and possibly show you the outcome or stand with you as you make a choice. In many tales, Badb appears as the washer at the fjord, a special figure washing the bloody clothes of armor of those fated to die. This image is part of a broader Celtic motif of death omens and the banshee-like figures. Badb's prophecies can bring madness or insight, and her voice is said to cause the confusion and terror among enemies in the heat of war. She is both a harbinger of death and the divine seer of fate. Badb is active in this legendary battle between the Tuatha Dé Danann and the Fomorians. The battle is said to have taken place near Loch Arrow in County Sligo. After the battle, she is said to have proclaimed victory and foretold the end of the world, tying her to this mythic landscape. So for Badb, I also feel she's very much connected to the death doula work and the one who helps you with your grief. And I can say on my grief journey, she has been there. We have gone to the river. We have washed my hands free of blood. She has taken the grief from me as we watched it float down. So she's a very, very powerful sister of the Morrigan. And this is an image that I found where she is actually holding a dead warrior and washing his clothes and as he makes his way into Summerland. So some of her attributes, we know that her name is often translated as Crow or the Scald Crow. Her domains are death, war, prophecy, and madness. Symbols are the raven, blood, and the washing stones. Her omen figure, which I found was really interesting, appears before battles, washing the blood-stained clothes of armor. So back in the day, during the Iron Age, or whenever she was gallivanting around Ireland, if a warrior was going to battle and he saw her at the river washing his armor, he knew he was not going to make it through that battle. So in a sense, she's not like the Valkyries. She's the chooser of the dead. So she's seeing before the battle begins. She already knows who she's going to take. She is the bringer of death omens. She incites chaos and confusion among enemies and armies, prophetic voice of an invalidable fate, connection to the Banshee lore. She shares the themes with later Irish death messengers, and she's associated with wolves and ravens. So this is a short prayer that I wrote for her. Badb, raven of fate, whisper of truth in storm and shadow, clear my spirit with your cry. Guide me through the chaos with courage and guard my soul as I walk the edge. So may it be.
So may it be.
And so now I have a guided meditation that I would like to take you through to meet the Morrigan for the first time or for a second and third time if you have met her before. So if everybody would like to get comfortable, close your eyes and relax. And at home, find yourself a comfortable position. All right, so let's close our eyes and take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And maybe hold in your mind's eye some of the images that we've seen of the Morrigan tonight or today. So with each breath, I want you to feel yourself stepping back into time, moving beyond the modern world, beyond the present moment, into the mist of the ancient lands. Feel a cool breeze that brushes against your skin, carrying the scent of earth, of water, and wood smoke. The mist swirls around you, blocking your view from what is in front of you. And as the gentle breeze washes over you, the mist begins to part. And before you, it reveals rolling green hills, a winding river glistening under a sky of soft gray, and a village of thatched round houses nestled within a grove of oak and ash trees. In the distance, you hear the rhythmic clang of iron, the sound of warriors training, their voices sharp with command and fierce with laughter. The scent of roasting meat and fresh bread drifts from the village hearth, mingling with the crisp scent of rain-soaked soil. And allow yourself to walk forward, your feet sinking slightly into the damp earth, feeling the weight of history in the very ground beneath you. The villagers notice you, their eyes keen and welcoming, men and women and children, clad in tunics, furs, and battle-worn armor, nod to you in respect. A raven's cry pierces the air, then another. More of them appear circling above, their black feathers gleaming. They are watching and they are waiting. One lands before you, tilting its head as if to assess your worth. The villagers step aside, their movements reverent. You feel the air grow heavy, charged with unseen power. The river's surface shimmers, the wind stills, and from the heart of the village she comes. a woman of power, of shadow and storm, strides forward. Her dark hair flows like a river of night. Her cloak is woven of raven feathers, shifting in color between black and the deepest red. Her eyes, fierce, knowing, endless, pierce through to your soul. She is the Morrigan, the great queen, the phantom queen, and she walks towards you, and the earth itself seems to bow beneath her steps. She stops before you, her gaze assessing, weighing, measuring who you are and what you carry within. Why have you come? Her voice echoes, rich with ancient wisdom, sharp as a blade, yet holding the depth of the river's currents. Breathing deeply, take this moment to speak to her in your heart. What do you seek? Strength? Guidance? A challenge? Tell her why you have come. And as you speak, listen. She may answer in words or in the whisper of the wind, the flicker of the fire, or the shifting of the ravens. What messages does she have for you? As she's speaking, she lifts her hand and a raven lands upon her wrist, its black eyes glinting, and she still watches you, wondering if you'll accept her blessing or will you accept her challenge. And if you are ready, bow your head in respect. Feel her energy, fierce and unwavering, wrap around you like a cloak of protection and truth. She marks those who stand in their power and who rise to meet fate without fear. And as you feel her cloak wrap around you, the wind stirs once more, carrying the scent of earth, the murmur of the river. The village fades, the warriors retreat, and the ravens take flight. And breathing in and breathing out, slowly allow the world around you to shift back. The present returns. You feel your body where you sit or lie, the weight of reality settling gently over you. But something is slightly different now. The Morrigan has touched you. She has seen you and left her mark upon your soul. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So I have one more slide after that, but I'd like it. Would anybody like to share?
I'll share.
You'll share?
I'll start.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was interesting. Two things. So at the beginning, when you
Mhm.
did your blessing at the beginning,
Mhm.
I immediately saw Sheila Gig
Mm.
open with her vulva saying, "Come on in, like come on into the cave," right? And I'm like, "Of course, I'll come into the cave. Let's go." And so, but then when you flip to the page of the cats, the cave of the cats,
Mhm.
it was like that exact thing was
Oh,
what it was, but it was
okay.
like Sheila Gig there. And then during the meditation, with Morgan, she was very much like, "I'm not for you." And I'm like, "I know, it's all good." But like,
Yeah,
she's like,
She's like, what are you doing
what are
here?
you
she's
doing
like,
here?
"What are you doing?" I'm like, she's like, "It's all good. We're like, we're sisters. It's all good, but I'm
Yeah.
not for you." And I'm like, "That's good. That's okay." She's like, "But nice to meet you." I'm like, "Nice to meet you too." So it was quite
She
interesting.
is not for everybody.
No, but I
Yes.
love, I liked that, and it was, and I find, I like that abrupt. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I love this. It's great. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know that usually wells are associated with Bridget, but are there
Mhm.
any like wells or water places, like not a river, but like it was very clear. It was like a circular water place.
Interesting. Not that I know of, but that's something that could possibly be. The Boyne Valley, I very much for myself associate with the Morgan because I spent a lot of time in the Boyne Valley and especially Badb. So I haven't heard of any sacred wells, but that doesn't mean there isn't. There's also the sacred well maidens that we hear of through Ireland, not only Breed, but the Boyne Valley for me feels very much that, or the river that runs through it is very much, I think, Babes territory, or really any river in your location you can associate with her as we do with many of the river goddesses. But that's interesting. I will have to do a little digging around. I'm wondering that myself.
I wonder if there's water under that mound.
There could be,
Something
yeah.
like that.
There's
That's what I
water
think of the first thing.
everywhere,
I was like,
yeah.
under that circular mound.
Yeah.
Because it didn't look like it was kind of like almost like looked like a place that had dark water and like you would go look at it and but you would see things.
Like
Ooh.
divination.
Yeah.
Divination. It could be because it does rain an awful lot in Ireland. So any of those the caves that you go into, when I was in Ireland, there were like pools of water, just especially when you're walking to all of like Low Crew and New Grange, the Hill of Tara. There were lots of little pools of water that were just sitting on the land because it was raining so much. I felt her presence very much around the Hill of Tara, only because I think it's associating with the Stone of Destiny, and that's where the kings were crowned and where everybody gathered to underneath, the High King of Ireland when they had that. But I felt her everywhere though, if I was honest. There were roads that we would stop on and I would tell, well, we need to stop, I need to get out because I have seen this before in my dreams, or I felt I need to get into the land. And I was covered in dirt the whole time in that trip, just because for me, Ireland felt like bones, ancestors, and blood. So I was like in the soil the whole time we were there. But there's so many ravens and crows. You have the rooks. There's hundreds and hundreds of birds all around, like Low Crew, New Grange, the Hill of Tara. Everywhere we went, they were just everywhere. So her presence is very much felt within the land. So anybody else would like to share before I move on?
We're just at our time.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have to close and then we can chat during the break.
So I'll do one more slide. So final thoughts. The Morgan, with her fierce aspects of Macha and Badb, stands as a guardian of transformation, truth, and sovereignty. She is not merely a goddess of death and battle, but of rebirth and wisdom and unshakable strength. Through her, we are reminded that chaos can bring clarity, that endings, birth, and new beginnings, and that power lies in embracing both the shadow and the light. To honor her is to walk a path of courage, to speak truth, defend the sacred, and stand unyielding in the face of fear. She does not ask for perfection, she demands authenticity. So may we walk forward with her, her lessons in our hearts, her strength in our spirit, and her blessings at our back.
Thank you.
So, thank you. Aside,
That was really,
That picture looks like what, well,
almost like what
I was
like that.
picturing
Wow.
when you were talking.
yeah, so this I did an AI request for this one, and this is what I put in.
That's what I saw.
That's what you saw.
Yeah.
So
that round thing is what I saw, and I couldn't see the picture
Yeah.
because this is in my way.
I will tell you that in my shamanic work, when she took over kind of the overseeing, I would go to a well that was just like this.
Oh,
In
it was
my,
like this.
yeah,
It was exactly. Well,
yeah.
thank you. Thank you. This was really good.
I could have gone on for hours and hours and hours.